Happy Wednesday, people. This is the Kris and Gina relationship show. Today's show, timing is everything.
Sure is.
And just in case you need some things to celebrate today, I like to bring up Wednesdays because Wednesdays typically get a bad rap, but it is actually National Wine and Cheese Day.
Okay. I'm down with cheese.
It's National Aunt and Uncle's Day. If you like any of your aunts and uncles, it's National Coffee Milkshake Day.
I had a coffee protein shake this morning. Does that count?
You're so healthy that doesn't sound as good.
It is really good, actually.
And lastly, it is National All or Nothing Day. So if you've been thinking about doing something great in your life, you just go out there and you friggin' do it.
Or don't do shit. It's all or nothing day.
This beautiful woman to my right, your left, is my weekly co-host. The reason people come watch, at least my male viewers, the smart, the wonderful Gina B. We do not have studio applause yet, but
the crowd goes wild.
Trust me, she's incredible.
The crowd.
And the other beautiful woman to her right, my right, your left,
all the way left,
is our special guest for the day, viewer of the Kris and Gina relationship show, Mina, a.k.a. Mina Says.
Yes. Hello and good evening, everybody.
Thank you for joining us, Mina.
Thank you for having me.
We're really glad to have you.
I'm a new viewer.
You give such great feedback when we see you on the screen.
You do. Always very
So
thoughtful.
we're going to see.
If it translates.
And do not come in here and be extra quiet.
I may.
Ladies, we also have one of my buddies. He is... Can we bring in our other guest, please, via Zoom? We have Mr. Brian Valentine. What's good, brother? How you doing?
What's happening, champ?
Man, I can't call it. Ladies, that is Mr. Brian Valentine, a.k.a. B-Val.
My pleasure.
This is, you've seen Gina B,
yes.
And that is Mina.
Nice to meet you,
It's
Brian.
going to get
Mina.
up here with Gina.
This is
Gina
the
and
topic
Mina.
today, but our guests are both single. Just saying.
Okay,
it has
y'all.
happened. It has happened here.
Shiny
It has happened here before.
It
Now,
has.
look, it has happened here
It has
before.
happened.
I'm not saying it worked out.
Yeah, I can't
We don't
vouch for
take
the type of attention
responsibility
you'll get.
after the intro. Look, why are we doing this show? Mina, Brian, people at home, we do shows on marriage, divorce, sex, money, dating, how important is it, who's at fault in these
Health.
relationship, dating, marriage, wanting to be with somebody else, waters, and try and make some sense of it. So, we will discuss timing, why it's important. Now, obviously, there are other things that are important in relationships, compatibility, chemistry, willing to compromise, etc. However, timing is something that can either boost a relationship or seriously undermine it.
Yep.
Brainchild, this topic, of my co-host, Gina B. Thank you very much for coming up with this because I didn't have a clue of what we were going to talk about today. Now,
it's a very important topic.
It is. So, again, without the timing, relation, and we're going to spread the gamut of topics. If you're on, I know we got people watching in different places. If you're on YouTube, I think if you type a question in, we can see it. We're on Facebook, but we can see a question wherever you are.
Everything.
We can see everything.
So just, fire away, and we'll try to get to the questions
But
the best we can.
I'm going to turn it over to my co-host. She's going to start peppering our guests. We've given them a sample of what they're going to get, but we've changed everything. No, I'm just messing with y'all.
No,
we did not change everything. Gina B, take it away. We'll alternate. And everybody gets to weigh in. Let's sort of do it that way.
Everyone does. Everyone gets to weigh in because this is very much an opinion.
Oh, I got to tell my guests.
Okay.
Feel free to mention anything you want about yourself. I don't pry as much. Gina B will try to get in your business. You have the right to say, you know what? I'm not going to answer that.
No, you don't.
And she's real clever. But, you can always say,
people.
You can always say, well, I've heard this has happened to somebody I know. Right? You can always use that. That's what I do.
Like she talking about.
I'm pretty much an open book. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Gina B, start her up.
B-Val. All right, so.
You can use my notes. No, you don't have it.
I don't need these. This is my topic, brother.
All right.
Sorry.
Let's go, Gina.
Bless his heart is all I have to say. All right, so we have two single guests today. And, okay, so by single, I just want to clarify who we're talking to. Brian, by single, do we mean that you are not dating anyone, or do we mean that you're just not married, but you've got...
You don't have to answer that. No, single is unmarried.
Divorced, and I'm seeing somebody.
Divorced and you're seeing somebody.
He's single.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mina.
Nobody has papers on me.
She is single and ready to mingle, y'all. All right, so...
Mina, you date. You see how she avoided that? You could have done that.
I'm dating.
See, now I have a little
I just wanted you to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Since the brother threw it out there, let's just throw it out there.
Yes, actively. Thank you.
All right, okay, yeah.
Okay.
My DMs are open.
This is why we do this.
Actively.
We understand the perspectives that we are getting. Okay. So, in the beginning, when you meet a person, so we're going to go pre-relationship right now, before things have been solidified, there's some questions about timing of things that you should bring up or not bring up in the early parts of your courtship, let's just say, because men should be courting us, correct?
Right.
Okay. So, in the beginning, I was waiting for a sneer or something from Kris. Okay, so in the beginning, how soon is too soon to bring up what their relationship goals in general are? Not necessarily just with you, but when do you think that should happen?
I'll go first. I think as we are all over 40, right?
Uh-huh.
Over 50.
Okay, that works too.
On this show, everyone's over 35.
Okay, awesome.
I don't care how old you are.
Well, I'll speak for myself. Being a woman of over 40, I think that should be stated pretty clearly because everyone has different intentions. Some people, just want to have fun, and others are looking for something a little bit more serious. So just be upfront about what it is that you want, what you're looking for. You should have your own idea of what you're doing before you start dating anyway. So,
yeah, sure. Okay.
Exactly. So, and as I mentioned before, I am seeing someone, but my definition of a relationship, if you will, is a little bit differently. I believe in. Okay, can you guys hear me? It just went blank on me. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I can hear you guys again.
Okay.
Anyway, as far as the person that I'm seeing, we just started seeing each other, and we are seeing each other, but we have spoken about this that we're not exclusive at this point. But it is the person that I'm seeing. Now, I believe in ethical non-monogamy. And the past 8 years since my divorce, I have exercised.
Hold on, I got a new word.
Definition.
Did you say ethical? What was it?
Ethical.
Non-monogamy.
You know what, brothers? I think if another brother's
one.
latched on to that word, y'all can get away with a lot more. Anyway, continue.
And so
I'm going to need to put my hair up for that one. Non-monogamy.
So-
All right.
Baby, we gonna try something new. No.
So ethical. Okay, so this isn't part of the script, but I need to unpack that.
I need to be educated on this.
All right.
Yeah, back up.
So here's what I believe in. I believe in asking people what they want, not necessarily before things get serious with he and I used to like to know what they wanted in general, so that I knew kind of where they were going. If I talked to somebody and he was like, hey, you know what, I'm not really interested in having any kind of relationship, I'm just having fun and meeting people, then the expectations are set and they're, I know what I'm doing then, right? I know how to think about that person. But, Brian, I'm curious, when do you hit them with the ethical non-monogamy?
Day one.
Okay, so how does that go?
Usually a female will ask coming in the door, well, what are you looking for? And I would say typically the way that the things have been going since my divorce, I'm seeing someone, you're able to see someone as well, and me as well.
So, okay, so what you're saying is that I'm playing the field. My assumption is that you're playing.
I didn't take it that way.
What did you take it as?
I honestly, listening to that, I had to take some time to unpack it. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother. It sounds like you're being honest.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you're doing what most people do anyway.
Exactly, but that's just called cheating, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, all right.
So you understand what I'm saying? Most people,
He's just dating.
when you first meet somebody,
He's dating.
you don't expect them to. You're foolish to think you're just going to stop.
After day one,
right.
you're not
When
going to
you-
be dating anybody else. It takes a while to get into that. Okay.
There we go.
So, but is it your intention to ever have a relationship that's monogamous?
So, can we go off on my past history?
Sure.
Can't really speak future. So in the past, coming in right after my divorce, I saw someone that we were together for 3 years. Cared a lot about her. Actually loved her. She loved me. We were able to see each other. I was there for her. Took care of her like a real man. Cut the grass, shovel the snow, do the whole nine. Take out the garbage. Treat her like a queen.
Means
The
already
whole
getting wet.
clean the crib. You know what I mean? That was my lady. But I was not in the right mindset to. I'm getting a little bit of an echo too. That's why I'm kind of. Okay, there we
Okay, you're
go.
fine.
I wasn't in the right mindset coming out of a divorce, you know what I mean, to be going full fledged into a relationship. I had to get my mind, body, and soul right for that. So that's why I kept things open in the beginning. And so it worked out really well. And then thereafter, so that was a 3 year relationship post divorce. And then thereafter, with the topic of the show, timing is everything. You guys don't know this, but it's perfect in my situation because I met a young lady who we tried to date in 1996, but it just didn't work. You know, it didn't work due to no fault of our own. It was she was out of town at the time. We met back up and 20, 2019, and it worked like a charm, and we were ethically non-monogamous. You know,
Okay.
Just sounds like honest dating.
it's extremely brutal, honest truth.
I like the term now.
I do.
Might
All right,
have
I got
to-
some thoughts on you guys' answers. First off, and it's in no particular order. All good stuff. B Val, I think, and this goes for everybody. Sometimes, as we get more mature, and you do run into someone where it didn't work in your younger, when you were slightly younger, those are people you trust, and I think that's something that should be visited by more people often than not. And I cannot take credit for that. Mrs. Critic actually is a big believer in that. But there it is. We see it work in action. You said something earlier, Mina, that, and I owe the viewers, I guide people to the light. I guide them. You are not in the light. Do not bring that list on the first date. You throw that. No. Don't even state your serious intentions on that first date. You can think about it, but here's why. Most men, there are always exceptions to the rule. Most men want a first date to be light because you don't even know if you like him or not.
Right.
But
Right.
the reason a lot of women do it is because they're bringing all them badass memories of the Negroes who messed up in the past, and you putting that on that man. And I have a saying on this show, I say it all the time. Be a kitten, not a cat. Sometimes men will go out with people who are younger, not just because they might be in their, better shape or whatever. It's
Ooh,
they act.
Shots fired.
Well, no, it's not. Well, I know I was in better shape when I was. Hey, it is what it is. That's just
And
human
getting
life.
pounds.
That's just human life. Don't take offense to that. You look marvelous. It was no
Absolutely.
shot. I would never
Thank
fire.
you.
First off, you don't even get on the show. I'm sort of chauvinist. You got to look good even to be on the show. It is what it is.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, everybody.
But you know what's
wait.
interesting?
So,
Okay.
but,
Okay.
so kittens act all friendly. They laugh at. They just do whatever you do. They almost act like puppies. A grown cat sort of mess you didn't want to. That ain't fun. I'm merely. You're free to do what you want to do. It just doesn't work. It drives a person away because if you're that serious about something and we don't even know each other yet, all I'm thinking is how is she gonna weigh on me when we're in a relationship and got some conflict?
I hear you.
Absolutely.
Can I share this?
Yep.
The last 3 men that I've dated, they're the ones who asked me on the first date.
They should.
They asked you
So-
what?
That has nothing to do with what
They
I just
wanted
said,
to know
though.
what my intentions were, what I was looking for. They're the one. I didn't have to say anything.
Were they looking?
brought it up.
Now, when they brought that
Let's
up,
read the question. Let's
were
rewind
they
the tape.
were they asking? Were they asking that question because they wanted to make sure that you wanted something or didn't want something?
That I guess that to find out if I wanted something, but
Okay.
they also too said they were looking for something.
On
Okay.
that first
Okay.
date, just sort of smile and laugh at his jokes and have a good
And
time.
when they asked me, say nope.
You don't just smile and giggle or whatever.
I
But my
used to
point
say
is,
kinda-
I do
men
that
are going to show you
easily.
people, not men, women and men. They show you who they are. You don't have
They
to
sure
ask the
will.
question.
You don't need to.
That's all I was getting at with that. Men
Yeah,
or
I'm
women.
not interviewing. I just want to have fun. I get that.
You interviewing.
No, not
I heard
like
the
that,
answer
because
to
I
the
don't
question.
want
If I
people
rewind the
interrogating
tape,
me.
the tape said the question was, Gina B. What did you ask her?
How early
Did she start talking
do you
about?
start talking?
And you
about?
said
I also said that you as a person should know what you want up front.
that's fine.
Well, you should know what you want. Like
If you want to go in there and you want a ring out of this man, you metal, that's fine.
I'm not trying to
Just
scare
don't. No.
anybody.
Just don't act like it when you're there. Similarly,
Fair.
men do this perfectly. Most men, if we ask you out, the Jesus Christ of men, we have intentions on sleeping with you.
Of course.
It is your job to sort of hold it back and make us sort of think, make us know you're not out there.
at least make him think you're.
That's
not
all I'm
right.
saying. That's all I got. All right, Gina B, I'm sorry. I had to weigh in on those.
No, that's fair. I mean, and I always recommend keeping it open. Like if anyone ever approached that with me on like the first date, which very few men have ever.
Don't be getting all smart on them, dude.
But no, I'll just say
It's been a while since we had a first date.
it's been a long time.
I've
It's been
had
on
a first
lockdown almost since I met you.
I've been on lock for a long time. But we had a first date moment, he and I, and it's a long story. But others, said, well, I'm open. It's like, I was open, but I wasn't sure if I was open to them.
Right.
And that was the whole thing. Like, I like to reserve the right to close that door should I decide
At
that I
any
don't care
point.
for the person.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I was just curious as to what everybody thinks is too early. Now, how early? Now, there's a lot of women out, especially the over 40 set, that are trying to have that last-ditch effort baby. And they ain't got time to waste, y'all. They
Good
know
luck.
their biological clock
I'll pass.
is like about to expire, right? So,
Let's get that one to B Val first.
Yeah,
Because
that's
as
what
a
I was gonna
man, do you have women who mention that or have they in the past?
Well, I'm 52, so kind of I'm in a different time frame with women. Women are having hysterectomies and the whole nine, and I had a vasectomy in 2013. Not gonna happen. So day one, when we having these honest conversations about what's going on and what things are gonna look like, I let them know I'm incapable.
Good man,
Can't
right
help
there.
you.
Some people would be stroking for months. Like, yeah, by the way, I can't even.
well, I mean,
Nah.
there are ways to reverse vasectomies if she's really that ambitious.
Not gonna happen.
There's ways to
Said I'm not
extract
getting
it from
credit
you.
again.
I'm just saying that if that's something that you should decide. But
Horrible.
if you,
Horrible.
but I mean, if she brings it up,
If she brings it up, I'll let her know then, especially when it's early. That's why I like having these candid conversations day one. So we'll know day two where we're going with this.
exactly.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a very transparent, honest person. They nicknamed me straight no chaser, literally, when I was in my high school years. So if at day two, even if I'm digging you real hard, but that's like, damn, I can't help you. I'm not about to string you along.
I love it.
Good for you.
I love it.
Great. Mina, what do you think about the bringing up of the? I don't know if this is your scenario or if you have ever had that thought of like, I just want to know what this dude's thinking.
Gosh, well, actually, to be honest, my views started to change during the pandemic. When the world kind of shut down, I had to look at my own life and think about what I wanted my future to be, And so at this point, I can have a child, but I just can't, see myself with a fresh baby.
Yeah, not a fresh baby.
I
I'm
don't want
fresh
to change.
baby.
I
You're
don't
the
want
old
no
baby.
soft spot. I don't want to change diapers. I don't want to get up. I really enjoy my life, but I know that I can. I would have to really, really, really be in love and
You can adopt a kid. I'm thinking about it.
I
I'm
don't want
not
a kid
opposed
that
to it.
bad.
Really? You gotta get them a little older so you see how they turn it out.
I have had my own experience helping to raise my siblings, so I know the sacrifices that are made, and I know. I mean, I haven't looked up any statistics about this, but 9 times out of 10, the woman has the bulk of the responsibility.
Course. Yes.
And I don't know if I want to be bothered with all that. I don't want to do homework with you. I don't.
That's a whole
Right.
nother
There's
show.
a whole lot going on there.
It's just
I
a
object,
very big
but
commitment to have a child, even if you are married.
Okay, so that said, though, all right, because this is I've really never wanted to have kids. I like to be the cool aunt. It's always been my archetype.
I'm the lit auntie now.
Yeah, I like to be the cool and lit auntie. Like, I'll give it straight no chaser to Brian's point. But I, for some reason, when I had a lot of friends who were baby fever, and they would go out with guys who didn't want to broach the topic for months. I,
It's a
for
lot.
some reason, would get men who seemingly wanted to impregnate me immediately. Like on the first date,
I've had a man tell me.
I was for a while the queen of the one and done dates because some dude would let it slip that he wanted to have 3 kids. I'm like, it was so nice meeting
He was just
you.
fishing to see how thirsty you were.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. They didn't see me again. And I wish them
I'm
well
messing with
because nobody wins there. Like, I want 0, they want 3. How do we get to, you don't bridge that gap. So, my point is, if you were to go out with a man and he were to tell you today, well, you know, I gotta find me a woman who wants to, like, at least pop out 1 baby, would that be, is that too early, first of all? And
I will pray for you.
You would pray
that
for
God
him.
would align you
Okay.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
someone who
Person-
can.
Yeah, to
Can do
Nate's
that for
point,
you.
if it's Nate Turner says, if it's any question about having a child, don't. Yeah, it's not something you can try and say
And
I don't
people-
like it. I'm
And
gonna
people
return
change
it.
their minds, but like that's a big ask at
Yeah,
this stage.
It is.
All right, let me but here's what's not relating to kids. What are you guys' thoughts? It doesn't have to be you all personally, but what are your thoughts on if you are dating someone and they have kids who aren't grown yet, right? Maybe they're 9, 10, whatever. And that's a possibility, right? What are your thoughts on if you're thinking about getting serious with the person, or in general, how long do you think is appropriate for people to wait before you introduce someone special in your life to their children?
Now, wait, Brian, before you answer, Brian, do you have kids?
Yeah, I do. I have two biological, and I raised 2. I have 2 stepchildren as well. So I
So
raised
we got
4 kids.
4
That's why I'm
all
like,
told, all told. Okay.
Yeah, you all kidded out.
Neither
Oh,
Mina nor
get it
I have
out.
children.
Yeah.
But
So we can have the child-free versus children aspect of this conversation because I'm not sure if the answers are going to differ. So, Brian, when do you think it's too soon to introduce your children to a new person?
it's I wouldn't put a finger on that. Like it's got to be 6 months or 12 months. It'll be more of a natural feel. To give you an example of my last relationship, she met my daughter relatively well, probably about a year later, which is probably relatively
Good
quick.
while.
Good time.
Yeah,
That's a good time.
yeah. So I wouldn't put a finger on it, but I guess I would then. Not too soon. Not the year they waited. I think that was appropriate.
I think it's harder when you are the custodial parent. So when women have kids, it's harder to, I think, because you have the kids all the time. I don't know how long.
You have to have very strict boundaries.
Yeah, very strict. But Chris, what do you think? You've got 3 kids.
Yeah, before I was married, I've dated women with kids. I ain't discriminating on those dating streets. Everybody needed some love.
Everybody need to practice having more babies.
I didn't want to meet anybody, nor would I let anybody meet my kids until, again, I didn't put any
We only have 1 kid.
dates on it. Right, I only had 1 kid at the time when I was single, but it'd have to be somebody that I was serious about. They'd already met my friends, probably had met maybe my parents, and I thought it was possible. You know what I'm saying? Because what you don't want to have is your child, especially as a man, if you got a daughter, you don't want to see some sort of revolving door where your kid is meeting somebody, not meeting somebody.
Right.
And then as a woman, I didn't want to meet their kid because what if it doesn't work? I'd hate to think about your kid upset, seeing you upset, or my kid seeing me upset. I just tried to keep them out of it. And I think even for a single woman, it could be more challenging, but so what? You get a babysitter. You do what you have to do.
Right.
Right. Can I jump in real quick on that
Yeah.
too? So, right out of my divorce, that first relationship out of my divorce, she didn't meet my daughter for a long time, long time, because my daughter was only 14 at that point. With the second one, my daughter, so yeah, 14 and 17, 17, 20. Yeah, she was about 20, 19 or 20 years old. And even though I said a year is long enough, if they were younger, I think you said 8, 9, or 10 at the beginning of that question, that's way too young. I did not, we were already going through a divorce, divorced at that point, can't remember. My daughter was already seeing enough trauma and adjustment in her life to be trying to introduce somebody else and confusing her. So
Yeah. And
I
shout
think
out
it's
to you
8.
for recognizing that. A lot of parents They don't even take that into consideration. I I tell you, I give kudos, man or woman, people who notice that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that it's definitely situational. Children are impressionable, and like if I'm dating a man with kids, I'm not trying to meet them right away. At the point that we're like serious, and you think, I mean, within his own mind, if he's thinking this is going to go the distance, then perhaps like you thinking ring purchase or something. But I remember being a kid, and after my parents divorced, I had a few uncles before my mom married my sibling's father. And I actually wish she had married one of the uncles that didn't get chose.
Wow.
But, yeah, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot because attachments can happen, and then you have to start explaining if there's an uncoupling. It can get messy. So you should be sure and think about your children's, their feelings, and take those into account.
I feel like
and the age, too.
And the age. Mm-hmm. I think you should think about the relationship, too, because you need time to develop a relationship prior to bringing other parties into the mix, especially children, right? Because it's like, if someone's dragging their kid around, and how do you really get to know the person? And I
would think less of that person. Can we blow up Nate Turner? I just want to see. Shout out to Nate. Gina B, you're the official reader of questions.
Nate Turner says, I was the custodial parent at the time. Kids were 16 and 20, both boys. Man, do what you gotta do. Okay. And then his next comment is, if you play and know, if you think you're long game, yeah. Yeah.
That probably sums it up right there. That was a good take.
Yeah.
Like I said, like Brian said earlier, it's not a time thing, but, if you're going through normal course and it's a serious person, after a while, it takes a while for anybody to think that anyway. So it's going to be some time. So that I think most people on the same page. I see a lot of the younger generations that don't.
They're the person they're dating babysitting their kids after 2 weeks.
Which is
that is a whole show on. That's a whole show on things not to do.
Oh, is it? Yeah, but the other thing too is that. Were you gonna say something else?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. The other thing too with kids is you just got to think about, like, if you don't have a good relationship with the parent, your co-parent, don't drag somebody else into that.
Oh yeah.
Until
But that's the question too. For those who do date people with kids, good point. How long do you wait before you introduce the person you're dating, introduce them to your ex? Because if it is somebody you're going to be serious with, at some point, they should know who's going to be around their child. Now, even if you haven't gone through it, what are your thoughts on it?
See, I've never met my fiance's baby mama.
But what are your thoughts on that in general?
Well, okay, so I'll take myself out of it because that's a whole different scenario.
When she gets out. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
When she gets out.
Upon release.
Get her the fuck out. Yeah, no. I don't know. I mean, I've had friends. I've witnessed this go well when hopefully if they have a good relationship. If things get very, very serious to the point where, okay, we could either, move in together, think about getting married. when there's a serious turn of events with the relationship. That's kind of how I think of it. We got a long comment.
Hold on. Let's put up Conley Dillon. I just got to see what Brother Conley wrote.
Okay, should I read this?
Gina B is the official reader. Read slow for the people who
says,
can't hear fast.
I was very transparent on the fact that I didn't want any kids. She made it very clear that I wouldn't have to worry about her getting pregnant. I thought I could trust that being she had 2 teenagers.
I know the rest of this story without you finishing. But go ahead.
I'll read it, though. Long story short, I couldn't stand her attitudes. So on the 6th month of us dating, I'm telling her this not working out. She throws a pregnancy test down. Yep, she was pregnant and keeping. Regardless of our talk, she was 35, I was 41. Talking about devastated. So I learned a lesson, I suppose, had Larry's and more of that.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, she got you good, brother.
So did she? Now I need more.
But
so did she have?
But that is, even though that is more common.
That is so diabolical.
That is more common than you think, especially as some women really want kids. and they're gonna pull out all
They're
the
gonna get the
stops.
sperm from your ass by any means necessary.
I just hate hearing that.
That bad.
No, neither.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately that happens.
That is very diabolical.
No one had to worry about that with me.
But introducing somebody to the ex.
Yeah, introducing somebody to the ex. Yeah, Mina, what are your thoughts?
Again, I still think that if you think this is going to go the distance, then introduce them because they're not going anywhere.
Right.
But if not, don't even do it.
Yeah. See, I
Because it can get messy.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, sometimes those co-parents are still messing around.
Well,
There's that
that's
too.
a little bitty. Well, then that's a whole different. That's a whole.
Especially if you got fresh babies.
That's a whole.
Oh yeah, when they got,
Yeah,
I would
that's-
recommend don't even go
Yeah,
there.
that's
that
old.
baby
5 and
stuff.
under. You know,
Girl.
that's why.
Mine is
Yeah.
simple. I think right before you think about if you have a younger child, before you think about introducing that child to somebody, I think it might not be a bad idea to introduce the parent because it just
should.
comes out worse when a little boy or a little girl is telling the business.
I met Daddy's
Right, they go on
friend.
or girlfriend.
Yeah, they were on the couch.
Mhm.
Kids.
As a
sleeping
man,
and
I
shit.
really didn't. It sounds horrible, but dating, I want to know what. I know you said you raised some, some kids.
Mhm.
Were they young when you started? Because I always felt it was sort of uncomfortable, more so uncomfortable with men, especially if the man was bitter about the breakup or whatever.
I had a very unique situation. So first, let me comment on the previous question, which is I'll introduce who I'm with to my ex at any given time, and if she feels some sort of way about it, it has nothing to do with me. We're apart now. We spent 25 years together total, 17 in marriage. So the first 8 was off and on, things like that. And that's going to segue into your question. Can you give me that question again? Oh, about the 2 stepchildren, right?
Yeah, like were you ever in a situation where it was somebody younger, and did you have? Because I think with men, if the woman has a younger child and she wants to, it's just tougher to meet.
So-
Because some dudes might still be liking her. And you don't, sometimes you just want to avoid that drama altogether.
So when we met, we were 21. My ex-wife is what I'm speaking about. When we met, we were 21 years old, so we were young, and she had a 4-month-old. So I had been in that the girl's life since she was 4 months old, literally. She was born in January. We met in May.
Was the guy around at all still?
Nah, that's a tricky situation.
Because if he's not around, it's actually better.
It's easier.
Yeah.
And so I was the side piece, loving it, staying in my lane.
Sometimes
You know what I
that
mean?
side piece position is not bad.
Oh, you ain't got to do
Yeah,
the good
no
morning, good afternoon. So, and they were off and on. Then she got pregnant again. And so that's when I was like, yeah, we were 23 years old at that point.
Oh yeah.
And, and I was starting to get into my career and everything. We were really good friends and really good lovers at the same time throughout the whole 8 years. And once he was completely gone out of the picture, like gone, that's when we kind of got serious and I proposed because she was at that time was my best friend.
Okay. That's good stuff.
Interesting.
That's good
Yeah, if it's contentious, do your significant other a favor and just keep them out of it, though.
stuff. All right, Mina, we throwing you in on this next one. As we do on every show, the subject of sex comes up. So,
Okay.
what do you think? And you don't have to tell all your business when you just jumped out there. But what do you think? I'm just playing. You don't bother everybody.
Come on.
What do you think is and if you were giving advice to somebody, your girlfriend, if she met a nice guy, how much time would you recommend she spend with him prior to having sex?
90-day rule, Steve Harvey. No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't man. Steve
Don't
Harvey
do
gives
that
out all
one.
sorts of bad advice. So nobody who read that book is married.
Or recently divorced.
And they don't get married. Never reading that book. I never met a chick
I
who read
never
that
read
book
that
cover
book.
to cover and is married.
I did read it.
You read the book?
I
See?
was at a different place in my life, though. That was what,
Following
10
that
plus
bad
years
advice,
ago?
should have been watching the show. But
You
anyway,
weren't around 10 plus years ago.
Yes, I was. But go ahead.
I was writing my column over 10 plus years ago.
Oh, we were still probably performing. 10
We
years
were.
ago.
We were.
I wrote my first
would-
While You're Not Married, 2009.
This is manifesto.
It is.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
okay, to the answer.
When is it a good time to talk about sex?
No,
So-
how long would you wait? You said your 90-day rule? That's not a bad rule. I was joking, but that's not a bad rule.
Yeah, but some men will wait even longer than 90 days. to get
Where
what
do
they
you
want.
hear my thoughts
And
on?
then they'll break out.
Oh gosh.
But you would tell her to wait 90 days?
No. My friends at this point in our lives,
They're making mistakes.
well, they're doing what they feel.
I agree.
In the
I call
moment,
them
like,
mistakes. But yeah.
They're doing what they feel, and it's not maybe
So
necessarily
she felt
netting
he
them
was
decide.
the one.
I don't
You
even
would-
know if
You'd
a lot
be
of
okay
women
giving
are-
her advice.
I think a lot of women don't
There's no right
necessarily
answer to
care
this.
if he's the one.
I got
they
it.
might just
No,
need
I'm
an
saying-
oil change.
I'm saying this is a
They
guy.
might need to get tuned up.
That is, and I'm
They might
okay
need
with
to get
that.
them tires rotated.
I'm specific in exactly. I'm real specific in the question. Somebody that they want as a long-term monogamous relationship, possibly marry even. What would your advice as their friend be? That's the
I would
question.
say wait until you guys are locked in, because you're going to have to deal with whatever the consequences are. If
How long?
It
How
varies
long
from,
that
I
takes.
mean, however long that takes. You
Okay.
could be, but make sure that you're locked in. I mean, I haven't always done that, but I have lived and I have learned. You can't take it back once it's done. And
Yeah, you
I
can't
know
unfuck
that as
somebody.
women, as much as women try to move out here like ninjas, when we lay down with a man, the hormone that's released is oxytocin, and that is a bonding hormone.
Oh, I told y'all we have smart guests on here.
You
I'm
know,
taking
and
some
so-
notes.
Everyone, we can't have sex the same way men can. A man can have sex with somebody he doesn't even like and keep it
Nah,
moving, but
not
we-
everybody.
Not
me.
I'm just.
My dick won't
mean,
be hard.
I'm not trying to make a blanket generalization, but in most cases, women, once we connect with you that way, it changes the whole game. And so you have to be prepared. I mean, for us.
I've seen women do a lot for $40, but I ain't never seen men do that much for $40.
But
Hey,
I'm
it
just
is what it
saying,
is.
When it's not
You have
commerce.
to-
I've never seen men do that much
you
for
have
$40.
to inspect what you expect out of said, relationship, whether it's monogamous or not, and be able to deal with consequences of your actions.
What you think, Gina B? That's a good answer. I
Yeah,
thought,
no,
and
that's a
I
good
agree
answer.
with. I like that. That was very. It's a mature answer. Look at you over there.
You live and you learn.
What do you think,
should
Gina
be.
B?
I
And then we
think
get
the
from B-Val.
answer is it depends, and it depends on So you're talking for
In
relationships.
general, I mean, there are people who met on the first date and
There's
died
always-
together.
always
It happens,
exceptions.
There's
but, you
always
know,
it's not the
outliers.
rule.
Yeah.
It's not
I'm
the
just
rule.
saying in general. What do you think?
Yeah, that's outlier shit, right? Like people who just we met on the first date and we married and we had sex on the first date. I think you know what, for different reasons than what people think, and I'll get into that. I think waiting for a little while to get to know that person a little better, see how they move around, see how they are regarded by their friend. There's an inspection period that needs to happen, because if you don't, you're gonna sleep with a lot of people that later you will regret having slept with.
You be wanting to take it
You'd
back.
be like, God,
I want a
slept with that
refund.
idiot. Like there are so many people that like they try to get it in because they know that their reputation is not the best or whatever it is, right? And then you're just like, here I am, the idiot. I've slept with him, I shouldn't have.
And I think that women should not err on the side of fear and thinking I have to do this to lock him in.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, that man is already seeing somebody when he meets you. So he getting his thing wet somewhere anyway. So let that other woman do the job and get to know him.
Spoken like a Jedi. What do you think, B-Val?
Okay, I was going to jump in on her 90-day rule, but she kind of just cleared that up, that
Yeah,
the man
yeah,
is
yeah.
getting some anyway. Because I'm like, if you think the dude's supposed to sit around for 3 months and just be squeezing one out on his own, waiting around, that's not the case.
Correct.
Also, too, what I want to comment on is I've had sex with someone on the first time, and it hadn't
Not
happened
surprising.
often. hadn't happened often, but that is the one that lasted 3 years
Oh wow.
and wound up becoming very good friends.
One.
Yeah, so one what?
That
What?
was the
No,
exception.
it just lasted a long time. They never made.
Now,
My view. Can I get a
Go ahead,
turn?
go ahead, go
You
ahead.
just always
No, yeah,
cut me
you're
out.
right. You're turning to a marriage, of course.
Right. Yeah, I've had that experience, and in no way at any time did I think I'm going to marry this person. I don't care how good it was. I personally think, especially after 35, man or woman, you can expect that somebody is seeing someone.
Absolutely.
But I advise people. I know how I am as a man, and most men are. We like to hunt. We don't like meat just dead in the road. And we tend to value things more that were harder to get as a whole.
Yes.
And always exceptions.
I thought he said as a whole.
As a whole.
As a whole.
No, as a whole. So
she was thinking a different kind of.
I know that when I've dated women, if I like them, and women have made me way different, I wouldn't go away because they wouldn't give me any. I just wouldn't go away. I was still pursuing.
That's if you really
So,
like them.
so I think that
just-
can be a litmus test for women. If you see a guy likes you, you can almost devalue yourself when we talk about timing. You might be Mrs. Right, and you might know the chemistry is there, but if it's given up too quick, somewhere in his mind he's got to think, man, if we're not 23, how often does she do this? And I think that can disqualify you at times. That's just my thoughts. But I looked up
She
some
can do it
stats.
7 nights a week.
Well, and then it depends too. You know, I know we live in a more liberal time.
Yes,
Way
we
too
do.
liberal.
And the younger
Yeah.
generations, they have a little time. I used to say over the average time was 2.6 dates and people's jumping in. But I looked up on a couple sites, 10% of Americans. And these are people who end up in not married, but long-term or married.
Okay.
10% have sex within a week, which is more than I thought.
What is this, Gen Z?
No, just in general, Americans.
Okay.
People who have sex.
Like, okay, 10%. That's very low.
20%,
Well, they barely
more than a
talk.
week, less than a month. 20 more percent, 1 to 3 months. But any study that I looked at, those who have dated the longest, especially past that what we call honeymoon phase, those relationships had better outcomes. They lasted longer, there were less arguments because the relationship wasn't predicated on sex.
See, Chris, the vibe I'm getting from you, you're very old school
No,
and traditional.
I'm for people making decisions.
But
I'm just for.
everybody is not out here like that. There
I agree. I said
out
that.
here moving wild like hyenas from
But
Lion
it doesn't.
King.
All I
I'm
tell
telling
people,
you.
I tell people right now. I tell people you can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of today.
Free will.
But the outcomes, I let people know what the likely outcomes are. You can go to work or you can walk around after work half naked all you want. You can sleep with 50 men. That is your choice. And if you like it, hey, I love it. But the chances of one of those men wanting to marry you goes down.
I agree.
So that's all I'm saying.
All right, I've got a flip side question for you.
Yep.
Now, if you're a woman and you've
I am.
decided, which, yes, yay, okay, and you've decided that you're celibate.
Good luck.
Well, see,
Right.
luck.
I've been there.
Choked on
Good
his own
luck.
No, I've
tongue.
been there.
Yeah,
I've been
Good luck.
there.
Okay, Brian.
And
Brian, what do you think?
I've been there, and let's be clear, celibacy and abstinence are two different things. Celibacy is more so a lifelong commitment, like what nuns do. God ain't gave me that gift. But I have been abstinent for a significant amount of time. And so are you asking,
When do you share that you're absent?
oh gosh, I'm
Yeah.
not abstinent anymore.
Good for you.
But I was very churchy. That could be a whole other
Yes, it does,
podcast
so.
episode. But what I used to do when I was younger is I would get it out like right away. Like, I ain't having, the devil is a liar. Like, I would be that woman that's like,
I think I remember that
smell
phase
it.
in your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be like, there's a man out
but
there
now-
for you somewhere.
Anyway.
Now, if I were abstinent, definitely not at the beginning. That's a stranger. Why are we discussing our sex lives with strangers?
Yeah,
like,
but
you
how-
need to.
And practically, you don't want him to know that, even if that's your thing.
Because I would see it. Like, I got so good at this, I would be out with men and I could see the flip switch in their eyes. Like, they'd be like, man, I respect that. But the eye of the tiger would be in it. Like, it on them because they wanted to take me down.
Yeah.
And I had fun.
Or do they
allowing them
run
not
away?
to take me
What do you
down.
think, B-Val?
If an individual is abstinent, what's the correct word for that?
Abstinent. Celibacy
Abstinent
is more of
or
a
celibate?
lifetime thing. Yeah.
Either one of them. That's not my deal. You know what I mean? I'm at that age, 52
Don't
years
give me
old.
some
I got a short time frame where my thing might not be working. So there you go. So, but I'm a very sexual being. You know what I mean? I'm not no hoe, not no fuck boy. Seriously, I'm demisexual, which means I have to form an emotional connection with an individual
He
before I'm
gave me
even
another
even
word. What was that?
Demisexual.
demisexual.
I think I'm
Yeah,
demisexual too.
I have to
Okay.
Let me Google this real
form
quick.
an emotional connection with an
Before I,
individual
yeah,
before
before.
before I'm even interested in getting in the bed. So I know right off the bat once when I first meet that individual, and if their intelligence is there, and I've got that emotional connection, then I'm ready to roll. And now we need to start talking about some sex.
I like it.
There we go.
I like it. We had a
Okay.
comment. I didn't.
We have a few comments that have just been.
Shout out to Kevin Perry. Thanks for joining the show, my brother.
All right, so
Whatever he says, older ladies doing a lot now.
some haven't had sex in 2 or 3 years.
And I get that. I understand, like, getting your
Lot of-
feelings hurt.
It's a lot of women saying that. Definitely.
But
They
all it
say
takes
that.
is one to bust it open.
There are a lot of
No
women
such thing
say
In the
that.
drought.
They say that.
There are a lot of. I was one of them.
Born again virgin.
They
Yeah, if
doing
you want to
something.
say that.
Producer Brian. I think a lot of them say that.
Yeah, producer.
There's a lot of
Brian
stuff
almost-
happening in the news lately. I'm not gonna lie to you. The women have. I've always looked at y'all holding up the more fiber of the community. Men, we've been some Neanderthals since the beginning of time. But lately in the news, there's been some women just making up stories about stuff, and I'm starting to wonder
Like,
what's really going on.
You've been making up
Folks out-
stories about like
Anything, folks just out here just lying. But hey, that's another story. That's
Well,
another,
that you know,
that's another
that's a
show.
whole different show.
That's another
altogether.
show.
Yeah. So
BVAT, we didn't get his answer on if you were giving somebody advice, not necessarily you, close female friend, she really liked the guy. What would you tell her in terms of time? She met him and early on, she's like, I'm thinking about this, I'm feeling. What would you tell her? She
It all
thinks
depends
I'm-
upon that female. If I know that that female is a sexual being, and careful, not no hoe or nothing like that, have at it. If you digging this dude, show him that you're digging him.
Do you think that lessens her if she wanted a long-term monogamous relationship? And do you think that changes his perception?
Statistically speaking, I would say that it does. That are her chances. But why play games? Like at 52 years old, man, you want to hit it, hit it.
I agree. And when people take it wrong when I say I'm just telling you what, like
Yeah.
you said, what normally could happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And because a lot of people do things and they can't figure out why this is not working. And they don't, in their mind, they don't think it's. And I just want them to know what, and that's why I always give stats. There's no right or wrong answer.
right.
Now the promiscuous ones, I'll be like, girl, slow down. You're
Right,
doing
right,
way
right.
too much. You've been doing way too much.
Right.
Don't you see? Or somebody, because most of the females that I know are they're ladies. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
and if they're a sexual being, if that's what they want to do, have at it. Grown folks.
again, you have to be able to deal with the consequences of
Yeah.
what
Men
comes
and
with
women.
that.
You know,
Yeah,
men
you
and
do.
women.
Totally do.
You
Okay,
know?
I have one more that I want to throw in
Go ahead.
here real quick.
Yeah, we got
So once you've been in a relationship, well, not a relationship. Once you've been dating for a little while, and you kind of like him, he kind of likes you. You guys have been plodding along, and then all of a sudden you're like, "What are we doing?"
You want to bail?
No, you want to see if he wants to
Oh,
be monogamous.
That's a question we should have answered. That's probably the biggest question.
So I have
When you had a serious
theories
conversation.
on that, but what's too early
Wow.
to ask? Why are we bullshitting?
That's the toughest question.
Let
Brian,
Brian take
Brian,
that
you
one
go
first.
first.
Brian, what do you think?
All right. Give that question to me again. Run my brain around this one.
What's too early for you to have the clarification question about your
Yeah,
relationship?
y'all started off, everything's going smooth, and one of you
One-
wants to be more serious,
You
but
wanna-
you don't want to scare the other person off.
Right.
When do you have that conversation?
Right.
I think honestly, that conversation should be had. If the other person, the female, if it's on her mind, then she should communicate that to me, and vice versa. However, what I began the whole show off with, the way that I think now, you know what I mean? That's just the way that I feel. I'm not saying that I will never ever be with just one person, never ever. But in the beginning, there's just so many things that you have to find out about a person. So I was married 17 years. And also, what I want to throw in there, I never cheated, not once. So I'm one of them different dudes. So
You're not supposed to cheat,
as far as what most men do, and
but you're not supposed to.
I'm not looking for no Grammy or nothing like that. But I'm just saying,
Clearly.
You
you
just
have
earned
to.
yourself some female fans. It's like, wow, he's sexual and very monogamous.
So I can't say that's my point. I know that I'm able to hold it down when I'm ready. Right now, So
That's not
I don't. It's
so.
another thing that's not a time frame, I should say.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So you don't,
That's a good
okay.
answer.
All right, Mina, what do you think? When should that
Um,
topic be broached?
I lean on the side of the man kind of determines whether you're going to be monogamous or not. Um, and if I am dating actively and seeing him, if he knows that I'm also seeing other men, he's going to want to take me off the market. And if he doesn't, then this isn't going anywhere anyway.
Good point. And I'm glad you said something like that. That's great.
But if you know, and here's the thing, would you agree that a lot of men are territorial with the women that they're
yeah.
seeing? They don't want to know that you're what you do, who was you with?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So
That's what
I
I'm
mean-
saying. I agree.
Yeah, I just feel like it's thirsty for me as the woman to do the whole what are we? It's annoying. But if I'm with a guy and he rocks with me and I rock with him, and he knows I'm not the only person you're seeing because we're not committed to each other, then
Yeah.
you're gonna take me off the market
I
because it's
feel
like
that way.
basically date them all, may the best man win, and if that's you,
I think you got to start looking at those holidays. I mean, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer, but is he bringing you around his friends yet? Is he inviting you over for things? Then, if you're a woman and you at that point, he's taking you serious. But if it's been,
and he might even
if it's
introduce you
been-
as his
if it's
woman.
been
You like,
three-
oh,
if it's been three
okay.
My lady.
Thanksgivings, if it's been 3 Thanksgivings,
Oh no, we're not
and
doing
y'all
that.
haven't shared any turkey and dressing,
Mina's not doing that.
you
No.
need to know.
Or if you do share
You
turkey
need
and
to
dressing,
bounce.
and he's like, "This is my friend Mina," then you're just
Yeah,
like, "Hold up."
that holidays kills. It
I'm not
kills
going.
players.
I'm not
Listen,
dating somebody for 4 seasons, and
Yeah,
we're not doing.
for 4
look,
years.
mm-mm.
For 4, yeah.
No,
Well,
not at this stage in the game.
No.
Mm-mm.
I believe that personally, I was never a proponent of even bringing that topic up, because here's how I felt about it. This worked for me throughout my dating career. I always my career. I always operated with the theory that men will tell you who you are to them, right? You don't really, and if you get to a place where you're sick of it, where he's not telling you who you are to him, then you move on.
Yeah, you can.
Right,
go through
Absolutely.
that.
you move on, because
Good point.
it's you have your answer, right? I have never had a boyfriend who did not inform me
That you were his
that I was
woman.
his girlfriend. And I had a couple guys. I was like, slow your roll, bro, because we did not talk about this, and
Right.
I am not the one. But anybody else that I mean, including my now fiance, he one day he just like casually brought up me being his girlfriend, and I was like, okay.
I ain't doing shit.
I was like, I guess not.
I ain't got nothing going on.
But I mean, seriously, like they will show you who you are to them, and if you start asking too many questions, it's like, oh Lord, she about to ask, am I her man?
I think the danger comes in, especially like for women, if that man knows that you're he's the only one that you're seeing, then there's no threat. We could just continue to do what we're doing. There's no urgency there, right?
Or if he thinks you're seeing a lot of other people, then he just thinks you're a hoe.
Right.
Well, seeing someone doesn't mean I'm laying down with them.
Well, he don't know though.
Right.
True.
He doesn't know what you're doing. He always
No.
is going to assume. All he's
Exactly.
going to think is, she's out with that dude. I bet he's hitting it from the back.
And he only knows what you tell and show him.
Right.
That's it.
Ooh, we're almost at
And
time.
vice versa.
This has been
Yeah,
such
we're
a fun
almost
show.
out of time. I want to thank our guests for joining us. Gina B, great questions, great subject. I will have both of you back. You all have proven to be fairly interesting.
Tried it.
B Val, you gave me stuff. I got
new terms.
you're gonna be on the show fairly soon.
Ethical non-monogamous.
But I would
Yes.
like to say, in all these subjects, and this is something that folks, if you're unsure, you can go on. If you've established trust, it's a good time to talk about something. If you can probably talk to somebody and enjoy it without touching each other after a while, It's a good time y'all past the honeymoon phase. They taking you seriously. Frequency of seeing a person. You know, who they have you around. You know, like, man, this person's sort of trying to show me off. You know, guys can see that if we are getting invited, come, you know, I've had women come meet my mom. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Hold up.
I think I got to feed my fish that day. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And as a guy,
Okay.
I've invited, man, why don't you know, we having this family thing. You ain't got to go. And she wants to go, you know. But, you know, you feel it out. So there's no right or wrong answer. But it's something that I know that a lot of relationships are you know, they get the boost. Or sometimes they don't happen because, you know, somebody may have pulled the wrong trigger too soon and scared somebody off. So, you know, I thank you all both for talking about it. Anybody who's watching this show, after we do it live, we do answer questions after the fact, and we get a fair amount of those. So, B. Val, thank you for joining, brother. I hope you'll join us again. It was good seeing you.
Absolutely. My
at the
pleasure.
Chosen Few.
Appreciate you.
Ethically monogamous. I mean, what was it?
Like ethically
Hey.
non-monogamy.
Ethical non-monogamy.
Ethical, and it makes it almost
This
sound
means
like
he ain't
you
lying.
basically, and it makes it sound like, oh, it's okay, girl. He's just, girl, he fucking other people. No, he's just ethically That's what he
It's
told
like
me.
consciously uncoupling.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Maynard, thanks for joining. We do
Thanks,
appreciate it. Keep
Gina.
watching the show as well. And to our producer, Brian, thanks again, brother. Brian is down here. He's a wealth of everything that goes on here. And thank you all for
Quietly
joining.
laughing at us.
Peace and love. We'll
Right.
see y'all next
I
week. Next
appreciate you
Wednesday,
all.
6:05 p.m. Peace. Kris and Gina, we out of here like last year.
Good